Production funding for Ruckus has been provided by Fred and Lou Hartwig and viewers like you. Thank you.
Exactly.
Good evening and welcome to Ruckus, that weekly food for thought fight over the news of the day and the trends of the times. I'm Mike Shannon. The Ruckettes join me shortly, and our topics tonight: the riverfront becomes front and center. Kansas City voters prove the primary is not of primary importance, and the minimum wage remains a major controversy. But we start down by the river, where for decades, local officials have agonized over how to take advantage of the area's vast potential. Lots of plans have been announced, but few came to fruition. Now, the president and CEO of the Kansas City Port Authority says that's going to change, and change soon. Michael Collins is a Kansas City native and no stranger to dealing with economic and political issues, having served as a senior aide to former U.S. Senator Kit Bond. Mr. Collins joins us now for our Newsmaker segment. Mr. Collins, welcome to the program.
Thank you
for joining us.
Thank you, Mike.
Before we get into the economic development issues at the riverfront, talk a little bit about the Port Authority. Give us an overview. What is it? What's it there for? What does it do?
Well, the Port Authority of Kansas City, Missouri. By the way, there's 14 port authorities in the state of Missouri. But the Port Authority of Kansas City, Missouri is a quasi-governmental political subdivision of the state of Missouri. The mayor and the city council from the city of Kansas City appoints our board of commissioners. So we have obviously a great working relationship with the city and the other economic development interests. But our goal is, number one, to make sure that the riverfront is enhanced, to make sure that we bring more commerce through Brownwater, which is the Missouri River, for riverborne commerce, as well as bring more industrial and intermodal solutions for freight transportation.
Where does the money come from to operate the Port Authority?
Well, we are solely funded mainly from private leases. We own quite a bit of land in Kansas City. We own a majority of the Richards Gebaur former Air Force Base, as well as Berkeley Riverfront Park and the development area, and the Port of Kansas City, as well as Isle of Caprice.
I've lived in the Kansas City metro area all my life, but in greater Kansas City since the 70s, and there have been a lot of plans for the riverfront.
Absolutely.
Very few have come to fruition. Why has that been?
Well, you know, one thing we've done in the past, and we've looked at all of those plans, and a lot of those plans we've been able to extract some very good information. I can't really say why a lot of those didn't happen. I know from 2007 to most recently why economically a lot of it didn't occur. But one thing, it was taking on the entire Berkeley Riverfront parcel at once. We've decided to say let's have a phased approach in economic development.
Well, you've announced plans, at least a project under the planning stages right now for a major luxury apartment complex?
Correct. So we are working with a a developer out of Indianapolis, Flaherty & Collins. We're still going to own the land, but they are going to build on top of our land and provide for about 410 luxury unit apartments.
And you're putting some money into this.
Absolutely. One thing that we've understood from the recession and previous economic development opportunities in the past that we've missed is we have to put skin in the game. So we are building that infrastructure in preparation for additional development.
And something I didn't realize until reading about you and about the Port Authority is that you can issue bonds.
Yes, we can.
For economic development purposes.
Absolutely. Under Chapter 68 of the state statute, we have the ability to issue industrial revenue bonds.
Has that been done much in the past?
It has been done a couple of times in the past. A lot of it was for Berkeley Riverfront
Will we
Park.
see more of it in the future?
You will start to see a little bit more of it in the future, but it's based upon our mission.
Besides this luxury apartment complex, you have other plans, at least in your mind, for what the riverfront area should contain. What are some of those things?
Well, first we look at the picture of what does Kansas City want? What do we need to continue to attract and build the story when people come to Kansas City looking at the riverfront? We want to sell and tell a story of what they are looking at when they go to greater downtown area. So we want to build an urban, mixed, dense village where it does have multifamily housing. It does have some office eventually. We also would want to have some support retail, regular retail, as well as other entertainment.
Mixed use
Yes.
area, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you one other question. The streetcar system that's being developed downtown, the 2-mile starter streetcar system, will that be quite a boon to what you have planned?
Well, we hope so. We hope so. We are very much excited about the streetcar coming in. We helped with the Transportation Development District. We're also on the Streetcar Authority. So we are 150% bought in. One thing we want to do is add that connectivity from our Berkeley Riverfront to its terminus in Grand. So we're looking at that as well, but we definitely see it's a boom.
Mr. Collins, thank you for coming by. I hope you'll come back and give us progress reports from time to time on what's happening at Kansas City's riverfront.
Thank you very much.
That is Michael Collins, President and CEO of the Port Authority. Now it's time to meet the Ruckettes and start a ruckus. Amy Patton is a columnist and blogger. Terry Riley is a former Kansas City, Missouri councilman and is now with Transformation Consultants. Mary O'Halloran is a media and communications consultant. And joining us for the first time is Patrick Toohey with the Show Me Institute, a libertarian think tank. As you heard in my discussion with the head of the Port Authority, he believes the riverfront area is poised to become a hotbed of economic activity with plans for a 400-room luxury apartment complex now moving through the final stages of development. And that's not all. Michael Collins told the Kansas City Star's editorial page editor, Steve Paul, "We're not going to sit back and relax. What's important for us is that we create an urban, dense setting throughout the area that creates opportunities and creates walkability and provides connectivity." So, what do you think, Mary? Are we finally going to see a viable riverfront in Kansas City?
Yes, with walkability and what was the other one?
Connectivity.
Connectivity. Well, he's got all the language right, that's for sure.
What does that mean, by the way, connectivity?
I have no idea.
Okay.
No, actually, the Heritage Trail, which was a wonderful Kay Barnes, Carol Marinovich idea, is finished. You know, you can walk from the bridges over to KCK, or you can ride your bicycle right along the river, which is a wonderful addition to it. It is poised, he's right, and for many other reasons that he didn't mention, the riverfront is ready to take off, but it has been a 30-year, very expensive ordeal, about $30 million for just the infrastructure to get to the point where the Berkeley area, the Berkeley Park area, is ready for this development that he talked about. You know, for many, many years, decades, Kansas City used the whole riverfront as a dump. The roof of the Kemper Arena is buried down there. The Wayne Minor housing complex was torn down and buried. And so part of the cost of getting ready to go was digging all that up and preparing the area for development. But now we're at the Grand Street Boulevard and the bridge, and we've got the streetcar coming down, and things are ready to go.
Patrick, you excited about the riverfront project?
Well, it makes me nervous. Kansas City has had such a poor record of economic development. We waste just short of $100 million right off the top of the budget giving out to developers, and we don't have that much to show for it. And so when government says we're here to solve another problem, I tense up.
Well, and the Port Authority can issue bonds.
That's right.
And Mr. Collins says that the Port Authority is going to play an important role to make sure we retain the right people in Kansas City and make sure we grow.
You know what? The free market can solve this. If it is such a wonderful idea to build luxury apartments, if the market is clamoring for that, then by all means let private developers put their own skin in the game and reap the rewards.
Have you been to the river market lately? There are apartments all over the
Terry,
place.
when you were on the city council, did the
wonderfully
riverfront area come up for discussion a lot?
Absolutely. I was on the city council from 2000 to 2000.
And the council appoints the people who serve on the Port Authority, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's prime for it. All of the infrastructure issues in which you mentioned were eradicated and dealt with at that time. Now it's time for the riverfront to take off. Yes, it's taken a long time, but I tell you, I want to give a lot of thanks and kudos to Kay Barnes, because Kay Barnes saw this vision. And what I'm thinking right now is Kansas City, we need to stop using our riverfront as a dumping ground, use it as an economic tool. You take a look at Boston, you take a look at other cities. they use their waterfronts as a means for creating economic opportunity.
Amy, it's often pointed out that Kansas City began because it was a river community. The past is there and the future should be there.
But we used it as a functional river, and let's just face it, it's an ugly river. So you can place I mean, it is. I'm sorry, it's ugly, it's muddy. So you can place these beautiful structures on the river where you're going to open your windows and go, it's still muddy. I mean, it's ugly. So I'm not for building these structures on the river.
And that's-
Missouri is ugly.
It is ugly.
And that may be why private developers are hedging their bets. They don't
Yeah.
want to get involved. It's not a good idea. So the taxpayer now has to be the investor of first resort, and that's a bad experience for Kansas City.
I did sit on the Riverfront Commission back couple decades ago when there really wasn't anything happening but dumping. And to see the change and the difference, if you go down to the riverfront on a weekend, a nice one, there's a lot happening. Riverfest, our first 4th of July celebration in the whole metro that's really centered at the place where Kansas City began.
This time was
Well,
the first time
it's a good deal.
that I ever went to the Riverfest down there this year because we stayed in town. My kids totally enjoyed it. Now, we've put money in it. Maybe we should just abandon the ideal of doing it and just leave it
You
for
could
not.
still have
The
a
money has
fest.
been put in there.
You can
put
still
there,
have a
put
fest,
there.
but developing a multi-million-dollar complex, hotels and stuff like that is a whole different
So
story.
what
You
else
built
they're
this one-
developing, Amy, is bringing back barge traffic. He's investing a bundle of money in
Into
once
barge.
again having barges go up and down.
It's a
Not the loveliest
tourism
thing to look
device.
at.
Come to
It's a
Kansas City
tourism
and ride a
and
barge.
ride your muddy river. I don't know.
The question shouldn't be whether or not we should develop this or whether
Maybe
we
that's the
shouldn't develop it.
slogan.
The question is, do taxpayers need to underwrite the development? And the answer is no, especially in Kansas City. We've made too many mistakes.
Okay, this initial development, money has been spent. And this initial investment that they're doing now, I've seen in my past serving on the city council, when you put a little money into it, other developers will follow. I do believe there needs to be a plan after this point to have people put their own skin in the game and bring, if you want to see Kansas City grow on the riverfront, come and bring the money
We have so
also.
many other areas of Kansas City that are not developed yet that still need help. That's what I'm saying. Let's
Well,
develop
they do.
those other
They do.
areas, get them functioning, get those tourist attractions up and running, get those, generating revenue, and then maybe focus on our muddy river.
I have money for you. I have a place
You have
for
money
you.
for me?
You have money for me? I'll take your money.
No,
Yeah,
no,
okay.
I have places for you to put that money if
Okay.
you want to see other places develop.
I'd like
But
to see
this
that
is
first.
But this is a port
Let me
authority.
wrap
This
it
is a
up.
port authority.
Patrick, if this is done, if there's massive development in the riverfront, will that be beneficial to the entire metro area?
Well, who knows? Who knows what the cost it'll come by? We may be underwriting this thing as far as the eye can see, like we are Power and Light District. And to Amy's point, I absolutely agree. Almost no public investment goes on east of Truce. That is legitimate urban core, legitimate need. And what we do is we spend our money
You
up and down.
supported the Kit Bond Bridge, though, didn't you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, look, a bridge,
go.
basic infrastructure is
The Kit
different than
Bond
building.
Bridge.
Basic infrastructure is different than building luxury apartments.
And that's
true.
what has been done so far,
All
is
right.
basic infrastructure.
We've got
We'll
to,
come back on that one for sure.
but not today. Here's a familiar sentence in Kansas City politics. Once again, voters have rejected Clay Chastain. Chastain's attempt to get on the June ballot as a candidate for mayor fell short in Tuesday's primary election in Kansas City. Incumbent Sly James, winning 82% of the vote, will face challenger Vincent Lee, who pulled 11% of the vote. Clay Chastain got 7%. Voters also selected finalists for the city council, a mix of incumbents, newcomers, and folks who have served before. So Terry Riley, you've been on the city council. You know Kansas City voters pretty well. What is your overview of Tuesday's voting, your analysis?
My analysis is that we need to come up with some issues that the citizens care about because they did not come out and vote. And usually when there's not a heavily contested mayoral race, people tend not to vote. Sly James is going to be the next mayor of Kansas City. We're sorry, Clay.
Is that on the record? Is that an on-the-record prediction?
Yeah, it's on the record. And take a look at some of these races up north in particular. One of the biggest surprises was the Louis Wright,
Defeat of Louis.
the defeat
Mr. Davis.
of Louis Wright. And then you have Dick Davis, and then you have Heather.
Heather
Heather came in
first.
first.
Yes.
And I was hearing during the whole election that she was up there walking door to door and really was making some good voter contacts. The other that's not a newcomer is Teresa Lohr. She had a fantastic showing in the primary.
Well, let's put up on the screen some graphics of the outcome of the election so people can take a look at who some of the winners were while we continue our discussion. 4th District at large, Jim Glover, the incumbent, versus Catherine Shields, who was a council member at one time and one-time county executive.
That was a squeaker. Catherine had a very good showing. I know that based off of what my contacts told me, Jim did 3 mail pieces in the corridor. Catherine did 1 mail piece altogether, and she made it to the general, and I believe it's just about 500 votes.
And just to clarify, you may have advised some candidates in the race, but you were not a consultant per se. You were not paid to serve as a consultant in the campaign. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Amy, were you disappointed that Clay Chastain didn't come in number 2? Frankly, I am. I thought it would be a great mayor's. I mean, I thought it would be hysterically funny.
I think most of the millennials were like, who? Like, you know, he's been around for so long. I think he's aged himself out of this whole thing. I don't think there was any surprise there. But I do want to say something about voter turnout, especially in races like this. I call them non-sexy elections. You know, these are the elections where you're not voting for president, you're not voting for Congress, you're not voting for governor. You're always going to have low voter turnout until we change the way that we vote. Young people don't want to go to the polls for these elections, and you're going to continue to have low voter turnout until we make voting more accessible and more friendly to the way millennials vote. So until we make this online, until we make an app for this, you're going to continue to have low voter turnout regardless of the issues.
Speaking of modern technology, I think I read a tweet from you, Patrick, on election night where you asked if there was some connection between Chastain's defeat and the lack of interest in mass transportation, i.e. light rail, which has been his main crusade for decades.
Well, Amy's right. Certainly, Clay Chastain isn't well known necessarily, but what he is known for is light rail and streetcar, that issue. And so I kind of put it out there is one of the reasons for his drubbing, a reflection of support for streetcar and transit. Now, Terry said we need to put out better ideas to generate more election interest. Kansas City's got plenty of ideas out there, but they're all bad. Streetcar, $1.2 billion airport, a convention hotel. People probably, a factor in low turnout may be that people throw up their hands because they defeat streetcar. They defeat the streetcar, and the mayor that night and the next day are saying we're going to do it anyway. And when you ignore voters, have no incentive to show up.
Ignored. This was not a drubbing for Clay Chastain, Mike. This was an amazing affirmation of the mayor.
That's true too.
He is a marvelous mayor.
80% of 11%
let me just finish the sentence.
Like the mayor.
He has a wonderful personality for the job. It fits him like a glove.
Oh, true.
And he is doing early morning and late at night mayor, just like the great mayors in Kansas City have always done, who have won a second term. People said, I like him.
Yeah.
Keep doing it. Good, I can't wait for the streetcar to come, and that's pretty much it.
I would be hesitant if you would describe an 11% turnout, regardless of who won, as any kind of mandate.
And it's also interesting. It's also interesting. This is the first time the primary was held in April.
Right, it's a good idea.
The argument was that in February it was too cold, people wouldn't go vote. It's now April, and fewer people voted.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like I said,
the data point is we've got one election. You know, you'll need a few years before you can determine if moving the date was a good idea or a bad.
It's better not to have snow, don't you think? Have you ever campaigned in the snow?
Christmas time, it's kind of nice. All right, we got to go ahead. We got to move on. While we're thinking about the next city council, some on the current one are trying to impose a minimum wage ordinance on Kansas City businesses following voluntary hikes from some major companies, including Walmart, Target, and company-owned McDonald's. The current minimum wage in Missouri is $7.65 an hour. The plan, advanced by Councilman Jermaine Reed, would move the minimum wage to $10 by this September, gradually increasing to $15 by 2020. Missouri law, however, prohibits cities from hiking the minimum wage. That roadblock notwithstanding, would increasing the minimum wage in Kansas City be an economic positive or an economic negative? Patrick.
I understand the allure of raising the minimum wage. It seems like it's free money, but it's not positive economic sense. such a small percentage of people who actually earn a minimum wage are at poverty. I think 44% live at 3 times the poverty level. And it's a blunt instrument, and this is not my opinion or the Show Me Institute's opinion. Economists across the scale say that raising the minimum wage does not have a great economic impact, and it doesn't solve for poverty. The real problem with raising the minimum wage, is that it makes jobs more scarce, and so you end up hurting the very poor people that you're trying to help by removing jobs that they're available for. And what you do is you remove the first rung on the ladder to economic growth, economic prosperity.
I'm sorry, that's not true. In the city of Seattle, Seattle did it. It did not create.
There have been stories of restaurants closing in Seattle.
No. Seattle.
Seattle.
No,
Washington.
let me tell you, I just read this. See, that's not true. That is not true.
There was a story in the paper about a woman who was one of the few people who got to keep her job. She worked at a hotel, but she lost her 401k. She lost access to extra hours because the hotel had to spend more.
I'm going off one story. I'm talking about now, for instance, if we were to raise, if we can't do the minimum wage, let's do a living wage. When I was on the city council, we made a living wage for every employee that worked at City Hall. Do you know if you came in as a part-time time employee when I was still at City Hall, you would have been making $7.75? Is that a way to raise your family?
Now City Hall is going to impose a wage freeze on all of its workers. But
Mike,
anyway,
Mike,
I want to know, hang on a second. I promised Amy the second part of this question.
Thank you.
Would a minimum wage increase be an economic positive or negative for Kansas City?
Well, I think it'd be an economic positive. We need to take care of our workers, and I think it's ridiculous to have people working full time, and then still needing government assistance just to be able to squeak by. I think retailers are already feeling the pressure of their workers revolting and are already taking steps to raise the minimum wage. I mean, if Walmart is taking steps already to increase their minimum wage, we're doing something wrong. I mean, it's Walmart, right?
This is the Johnson County Job Creation Program.
For this reason, if Walmart's moving ahead,
Right.
They understand
Right.
that having the goodwill of their employees, and besides, in this country, the basic issue, Patrick, on minimum wage is, should you be able to work full-time and still not be able to live a good life?
A decent life.
If you live in poverty and work full-time.
That's not what's happening. You've got
is what's
44% of people who earn the minimum wage live at 3 times the poverty level. If Kansas City is serious about addressing poverty and helping people at the bottom of the economic chain, you need to get rid of.
What do you want to do?
What are you getting rid of?
No, you're going to get rid of the horrible regressive taxation.
Earnings
that we
tax.
have in the
Earnings
city.
tax.
What you're doing is you're taxing people into poverty and then forcing businesses to pay them more. But what's going to happen in Kansas City is you're going to end up pushing.
All of this notwithstanding,
Yes.
is it Kansas City, Missouri City Council's business to
No,
impose
it
a
is
minimum
not.
wage
The
increase?
city attorney, Bill Geary, is right. The mayor is right to talk about this in terms of a living wage.
Right.
Because they can't, it's against the law. It's a state issue. On the other hand, I mean, Patrick, you know, if we had never raised, if we just kept the minimum wage that was first in place when it was first instigated and started, we'd now be at $11 if we never raised it, if it just went up to
Right.
take care of inflation. So,
You talk at one
people,
point-
have you ever held a minimum wage job?
Absolutely, I have. And I was frustrated that the hospital that I worked for wouldn't allow me to work that 41st, 42nd, 43rd hour a week because the government knew better and didn't want me taken advantage of. The impact, however, was that I earned less at the end of the week. What you talk about Walmart raising wages,
Yeah.
that happened in the private sector. Walmart raised wages on its own.
Finally, and under
Finally,
pressure.
after
They
years.
were
It's an
forced
example.
to do
It's
that.
an
Because their
example.
workers-
It's an example of free market forces. If we raise the minimum
they
wage,
forced them.
if we raise the minimum wage in
Who
Kansas
forced
City
them?
to $10,
The employer.
The market, the free market.
The employees
Yeah.
force them? Why don't
We
they
have a
force them to raise it
floor.
higher?
We have a floor on
All
the
right,
workers.
we got to move on. It is
Yeah.
time now for Roast and Toast, where the Rockettes cheer or jeer people and events in the news. And we start with Mary.
Well, I want to toast the Mainstream Coalition in Johnson County primarily because they have the school funding issue, excuse me, analyzed correctly. There's a 3-legged stool that Brownback is trying to sit on in order to get his really radical ideas on taxes passed. First of all, is reduce school spending. Second, to block the Supreme Court's activities in making sure that the formula that exists now is continued. And finally, to continue to slash taxes. Nancy Lusk in Overland Park and Representative Barbara Bollier, two people bravely standing up for school funding in the state legislature. Good for them.
Terry.
I would like to toast the parents of Academy Lafayette. About a week ago in the newspaper, everyone saw that Academy Lafayette's board and the school district broke off conversations. But the parent groups have revived that conversation, talking about getting a high school. Myself, I've talked with many people, the detractors, saying that we don't need to do it. I believe it's a great idea because we need to continue to create educational opportunities for our young people to be successful.
Patrick.
Thank you. So much I want to respond to. But I have a toast this week to the Kansas City Star for their editorial last month decrying the growth of Kansas City spending. It's gone up, I think, 80% in the past 16 years. And so I look forward to the Kansas City Star holding the city's feet to the fire and not just endorsing future expanses in spending.
Amy.
Am I the only one who's a bummer at this table? I want to come
No.
down on, yeah. I want to come down on the state of Kansas, of course. For their welfare bill. I think that this bill that stipulates what welfare recipients can and cannot spend their money on is ridiculous. The laundry list of things that welfare recipients can't spend their welfare money on, I think, is humiliating to poor people. They put things on there like the poor people can't take cruises, they can't visit fortune tellers. I mean, they might as well just add it to the list that they can't buy a Mercedes or a racehorse. I mean, I think that this list was ridiculous, and I think that they should be ashamed of themselves.
And finally, a roast to the Kansas Senate for defeating former Mission Mayor Laura McConwell's appointment to the Kansas Gaming and Racing Commission. McConwell was already serving on the board, filling an unexpired term. The apparent reason for her defeat? She supported the so-called driveway tax, totally unrelated to gaming or racing while she was mayor of Mission. Some GOP senators claim her support showed poor judgment. Well, speaking of poor judgment, how about Senate Republicans defeating a fellow Republican appointed by the state's most prominent Republican for less than compelling reasons? That's Ruckus for this week. Back next Thursday at 7. On behalf of the Ruckettes, Mike Shannon saying thanks for watching and good night.